Hi, my name is Deb Enright, and this is Money Matters. Today, we catch up with our Fine Arts Curriculum Specialist, Melissa Dufrechou, to tell us about the very successful Bring Your Music to Schools event that has placed at least 25 donated instruments into the hands of Williamson County band students. Melissa created an opportunity for our community to get involved with making sure that our district's band program started to get the resources needed to change students' lives. The success of the Bring Your Music to Schools program shows Melissa's genius and the willingness of our Williamson County community members to get involved with our schools. We will then meet Allie Miller with Reliant Bank. Allie is a member of the first graduating class of Ravenwood High School and a member of our first Ambassador Program class. We are thrilled to have this graduate of our schools participate in this brand new Williamson County Schools Community Partnership Program. Allie will share some of her experiences in the Ambassador Program, as well as unveil her idea for a partnership that brings the expertise of Reliant Bank to our school community. And here at Money Matters, we continue to recognize our partnership with Daryl Thompson of Raymond James Financial Services, the underwriter of our show, Money Matters. So stay with us, because when we return, we will celebrate a magnificent example of how believing in our community helps our students and how the Ambassador Program is fostering unique partnerships to bring even more support for our school community.
Where can I find out about the Venus flytrap?
Where can I research information on my business competitors?
What is the safety record on the car I want?
Where can I research careers?
Where?
I'm all shook up.
The Tennessee Electronic Library. That's where. And it's free to everyone in our state. Now go to your public library and find out how you can log on and get your password to a world of information just for living in our state. You can probably even figure out the password just by listening to my voice.
I'm all shook up.
And welcome back to Money Matters. I am very happy to have Melissa Dufrechou with us. We thought we'd have Melissa back so she could talk to us about this major success that she had that was born out of a understanding about how powerful this community is in terms of developing partnerships. And so there was this great program that happened just a few weeks ago called Bring Your Music to Schools. So Melissa, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And I think we all just want to have a round of applause for this great idea that you had. So let's talk a little bit. So for some folks who haven't joined us before and haven't seen, I don't know, the press releases and the stuff on TV, or got to go to the performance at the Franklin Theater, or were able to see all the drop-offs of instruments that happened at 4 schools, is that right? Mm-hmm. And the central office. Can you just give us a snapshot of the program, and then after you've done that, I want to talk about all the great things that happened from it.
Well, absolutely. In March, Williamson County Schools sponsored Bring Your Music to Schools, which is an initiative to get instruments into the hands of children who might not otherwise be able to get an instrument to participate in band or orchestra programs in our middle and high schools. This initiative was helped in part through Shuff's Music and the Franklin Theater and the Nashville Symphony, who all helped to promote, who helped to find instruments, and we had several, like you said, drop-off locations where people just drove up and left instruments for students to be able to use, some in perfect condition that won't need to be repaired at all, others of which Shuff's Music has done some minor repairs to, so that our students will be able to play these instruments.
That's just terrific. So we're seeing kind of a full complement. So we have Shuff's Music, who stepped up not only to collect some of the instruments and at the drop-offs as well, but they're helping assign a value and also to see if an instrument is playable, I guess is what we would say. And then the symphony stepped forward with a maestro, calling everyone to action not only just to put instruments in the hands of potential musicians, but I think the one thing I got from his video was also for audience development.
Well, the Nashville Symphony wouldn't exist if nobody came to watch them. And that's kind of what we think about in our schools as well. It's not that we are training all of our students to become professional musicians, but we want them to value and appreciate and understand it so that when they are adults, they can go to the Nashville Symphony or the Franklin Theater or TPAC and understand what they're seeing and appreciate it and be a part of that community.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, talk about the day. So on Saturday, March
16th.
Yeah. So on Saturday, March 16th, tell me about that day for you.
Well, Saturday, March 16th was an exciting day. The Franklin Theater opened its doors to our schools and hosted kind of the celebratory culminating event for this program. And through a concert that featured the Nashville Symphony String Quartet, who also donated their time to pull together this special performance for this. And it was a great event because you started the morning out with the Hillsborough Jazz Band, a brand new band, 2 years old, came together through community initiative, and these middle school students performing. And then we graduate up to high school students with the Ravenwood High School Orchestra, which was brand new this year. Another reason we wanted to feature that particular group. And they performed for parents, for community members who just wanted to come and see what we're doing. And then we all got to look forward and see this wonderful professional group playing a wonderful Dvorak quartet. And it was a great growth to see that, and the symphony was so excited to be a part of it, and the Franklin Theater was so excited to be a part of that special day as well.
There was an energy to the day, and I think I saw, correct me if I'm wrong, but when the Ravenwood Orchestra was there, I don't know, maybe the fine arts curriculum specialist was perhaps playing her violin as well?
Yes, I stuck myself into that one. I enjoy getting the opportunity to perform, and it was a fun opportunity for me to get to play with the students as well and participate with them and let them know that there are lots of different ways that you can continue with your instrument, even if you are not a professional performer.
That's a great lesson. So speaking of lessons, as you look at what happened over that month, can you tell us some of the outcomes?
Well, we collected over 25 instruments, which I just think is fantastic.
That is fantastic.
I mean, everything from flutes to full drum sets. The Nashville Symphony was even able to step up and find a tuba for their instrument on loan program for one of our schools. And so we, in total, between the instruments and the repairs that Schuff has done, the symphony musicians and the Franklin Theater, we raised approximately $10,000 in donations.
My goodness, that's fantastic. Well, what lessons have you learned about community partnerships as you look forward to either doing this event again or other events as you move forward?
Well, the Williamson County community is just that. It's a community, and people donated to the schools that don't even have children in the schools because they value what we do and what we bring to the community as a whole. And as a school system and as a fine arts department, we want to recognize that importance and continue our outreach through the performances that we do and the opportunities that we provide for patrons in the area as well.
So as we wrap up, and I appreciate you coming on again, you've been so kind to share the beginning of it, the development of it, and then actually as it was going to happen and kind of launching it, and then having now this kind of bookend to a very successful event, and congratulations. Is there any small anecdote that you experienced on Saturday, either through a child's participation or a parent's face or something that said to you, wow, this was successful?
It didn't happen on Saturday, but the next day, a friend of mine who brought her granddaughter was telling me she was sitting next to somebody who had come and come just to hear the symphony, and didn't realize that the students would be performing as well, because the quartet was headlining it, and she told this friend of mine, she said, well, she definitely was pleased even with our young students, and very much enjoyed hearing the talent in our schools.
It must be fun for a little one to see kind of, you know, maybe someone who's closer in their age doing that, and then somebody a little bit older, and then seeing the professionals do it. It might make it seem a little bit more real. So do you have anything else up your sleeve in terms of, you know, something like Bring Your Music to Schools and the other areas that you're interested in for fine arts?
Well, I hope that this isn't the end of Bring Your Music to Schools. You know, bring your art to school. You know, we don't.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I also understand that you still are getting donations, so it's not over, right? The need is constant, and so if you've missed this time, they can still bring it here. Does that work? Or if somebody has a tuba that all of a sudden they remembers in the closet while they're spring cleaning, can they bring it to you?
They can at this point. Now I know the repairs that Schuff's promised were during the month of March. Mm-hmm. But if they have an instrument in good working condition still, we would love to take a look at it and bring that forgotten tuba.
That's wonderful. I think the phrase you coined as we wrap up, I think that you said something like still has notes to play, an instrument still has notes to play. And I really love that a lot. Melissa, congratulations. This is such a great example of bringing people together to help enhance the education experience of our students. And kudos. It just was a wonderful thing to be a part of at the Franklin Theater and to watch all the community partners come together to help our kids. So thank you for joining us, and continued best wishes on all the other things you've got that you're working hard for. We'll be back in just a little bit. We're going to talk with Allie Miller. Allie Miller is a graduate of the system, is here in Williamson County professionally, and now is part of our ambassador program. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Supposed to be in here.
Yes, we should be in the recycling bin. Let's go.
There it is.
Hey, if we're not recycled, everybody loses.
That's right. Landfills are very expensive, and recycling saves resources and protects the environment.
So what are we waiting for?
All we're asking is for you to recycle. Hey, baby, reduce and reuse.
And welcome back to Money Matters. I have the great pleasure of introducing I shouldn't say Miss, should I? Here I was going to start with Allie Miller, Mrs. Allie Miller. Yeah. So the reason I said Miss is because I want you all to know that she was in the first graduating class of Ravenwood High School. So she's a product of our system. She now works in Williamson County, and we were very happy that she accepted our invitation to be in our pilot program for the Ambassador program here, which, as you all know, is a program that is trying to get our community leaders linked in with our school system and seeing the school system in a pretty comprehensive way. So we're going to talk about that with Allie and what she's up to and the partnership that she is forging with our PTO leadership for the district. So welcome.
Thank you.
We're so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
So this is like a home from you, I understand.
Definitely.
It is. So tell us a little bit about why this is so familiar.
Well, when I went through Williamson County schools my whole, schooling growing up, kindergarten through senior year of high school. And I had the pleasure of going to Ravenwood and being the first graduating class there, like you said. So my senior year of of Ravenwood High School, I actually was in the broadcasting department and had an internship with the central office where I was able to come over here and actually have my own little show here at WCTV, and just really got to know a lot of the people at central office and really built some strong relationships. I knew I loved it at the time. I had no idea it would continue on this path and that these relationships would be a part of my future. And I'm so thankful that they have been, because it's been just neat to see it all come together.
Well, I don't know if we've told you this story, but as we were putting the first class together, we were trying to, we had a couple things we wanted to make sure that we had folks who were coming from all different areas within the district, and that we had a good mix of industry and nonprofits and government, so that we could really give a great picture to people so that they could go tell the story. And I'll never forget, your name came up, and it came up because of your work here as an intern, but also because your story's really cool, and that you are a graduate, you went through the first, you helped to open a high school, and then you've now gone on to an industry that really, I guess if you think about it, may not be directly linked to communications, but I think with what you do, it was a great segue for you. Can you tell us where you work and then what you're doing?
I work at Reliant Bank, and we are a local community bank. We are locally owned and operated, one of the few true community banks in Williamson County. We have 4 area branches. I never would have thought I would be in banking, but I am so thankful that I've landed there. Reliant has been incredible. They've just seen a lot of my skills and giftings and really tried to put me in positions that exemplify those things. And for example, most large banks don't have a lot of community involvement, but being a community bank, Reliant really does try to involve themselves in as many community functions and really be a community bank, be involved. So my role at Reliant is to go out and I give presentations to area businesses, and I'm able to visit those businesses and be a kind of a community ambassador, go in and make banking simple and convenient for the people where they work and live. And so part of that takes on different roles, and I've been able to continue a relationship with Williamson County Schools, partly through the career fair, the 8th grade career fair that occurs each year. Reliant has always been a part of, sets up a booth, and I've continued to go and volunteer at those career fairs and keep up with those relationships that I had built years prior. And
now, just so folks know, explain that career fair. So that's, because I know that comes from the communications department, and it comes from, who else is involved?
I believe it's CTE Education, the Career and Technical Education
and
Department.
And you take over the Ag Expo Center and tell them who comes.
Oh, goodness, everybody. You'll see all different kinds of professionals. The most popular, I think, are usually the acting and modeling booths. All the girls are flocked to those tables. Other banks will come. There's usually paramedics, different veterinarian offices, just any kind of industry that you could possibly imagine. It's great because 8th graders are able to go around and visit all the different booths and ask questions about those careers and whether or not it's something they'd be interested in. And I love participating in it because I'm able to show that banking isn't just about finance. It can really, my job as a communications major and really doing a lot of that, I get to have kind of, I think, the fun part of banking. Others may argue but with that, but for me it's a real fun, different aspect, kind of more marketing related, that I never thought existed in a banking world, but it does. And so I think it's important for students to get to tour the different booths and to find out, one industry may not be what they think it is.
Right.
So it's nice that they're able to ask those questions and really learn, from the professionals themselves.
Yeah, I think what's so helpful about something like the career fair is it does expose kids to the variety of options they might have, and that certainly whatever their family has afforded them, they see a certain part of the world.
Yes.
But just as you said, sometimes you don't necessarily know what those connections are going to be until you get a little bit older and see.
Exactly.
And it is nice to talk with the people that are doing the work you may think you want to do, or in your heart you want to do. So that partnership is, we appreciate that you're a part of that. So this other partnership thing is pretty fun. The ambassador program is something that's in its first year,
Yes.
and we hope it will continue.
Yes.
We love the feedback you guys are giving us. So there's 19 of you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start first with why you said yes when Dr. Looney invited you to be a part of this.
Oh my goodness. It really honestly was a no-brainer for me. I didn't have to think twice. I think someone called to confirm if I was interested. I said, yes, I'm ready right away. And so they were kind of taken back at, my enthusiasm to be a part of it. But I was just so honored that Williamson County Schools would consider a graduate and someone that had been involved, that they would remember me and that they would want to continue investing in me. I think that says a lot about our school system, that it's obviously it's impacted my life even to this day, and I think that really says a lot. So it really have always loved the school system. I'm actually pregnant with my first child, and we live in Franklin, so I know that our children will be going to Williamson County Schools. So I don't foresee this relationship with Williamson County Schools ending anytime soon. So for me, this is just a way to continue that relationship. And through my involvement with Reliant, I know that because we are so community focused, it just makes sense to be a part of the school system of Williamson County, and to really make sure that we are doing all we can to participate with you all. And so it's a joy to be a part of. I've loved the program.
Good.
Loved it.
Good.
Cannot say enough good things about it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, part of that program is we want to make sure you understand what we do in the classroom and outside of the classroom. But what we ask each of you to do, and this is 19 folks, is to create some kind of partnership that complements your work and obviously helps add value to the work that we do. So I think you're one of the first who has put their design together and already spoken to the entity in the district to make it happen. So would you please tell us about that? Yes, I'm really excited because this is something I've wanted to see happen through Reliant and just haven't known really the avenues to take to get there, and it's happened so naturally through the ambassador program, and that's really how I wanted it to be. And so the program has allowed me to put together kind of a proposition to start this new seminar of sorts. And really, I have a passion for teaching parents and family and children about saving money, what that looks like, budgeting or couponing, whatever it may be, just really equipping parents and their families to lead financial responsibility. So what I had the idea of is, why not just put together some seminars or some workshops that parents can attend, and I'll lead it for Reliant, and we'll just, it'll be an opportunity for parents to just also be educated. Again, so much about Williamson County Schools is about the kids, but we all know that it starts from the home. And so if we can touch the parents, we can have a greater impact of really educating our students, and it'll just come full circle. So we met with the PTO leadership, thanks to your help with that, and we were able to put together kind of an idea to move forward, and hopefully in the next month or so, we'll be starting our first seminar with some parents, and we'll be able to just kind of start slowly and see what it looks like. We're welcoming all feedback and ideas from anyone interested in what this looks like, but we're excited to give it a shot and just see what happens. Yeah, I think it's a great fit, and I really like that what the ambassadors are putting together aren't necessarily just focused on the classroom, but just as you said, it is our school community that we want to service, and we know that we want to partner with strong community leaders who can help the entire community. So this this kind of financial literacy 101, if you will, or however you all are going to call it. And I love also that you have decided to be willing in the design to learn from it. So Alma, I mean, I guess what I'm hearing is to customize it to the needs, because needs are different in different areas of the county, and I also appreciate too that when you're reaching out to the county versus just one little, one section or one place.
Exactly. I think it's really important that, we've never done this before, and we don't want to come in, oh, we know what we're doing, we've done it before. We really want it to be built by the community, and we want that feedback, and we're willing to kind of get out there and maybe fail a little and pick ourselves up and make it even better. I think that's actually been a really neat thing for me to witness Williamson County Schools through the program, is so much of the ambassador program has shown me is how much Williamson County Schools has changed. I graduated about 8 years ago from high school, which I can't even.
Okay, that's not very long ago.
I cannot believe it's been that long.
Okay.
But those 8 years have flown by, and even in that short of time, so much has changed, but for the better. And so by being a part of the ambassador program, I've been able to see the changes that have happened in our school system and how you guys have made it better. And I just think that we can start with this idea, this concept, and I don't think there's anything bad that could really come of it, and we can just make it better.
I think it's neat for particularly a graduate to see that education has to constantly evolve. The needs are different, the demands are different, the kind of edicts from the federal government, the state government, the local expectations continue to grow. And it is a great thing to hear that you think things are going well.
Yes.
And I think it's also really wonderful that we do have a recent graduate, let me say that, because I think our other ambassador who's a graduated 40 years ago from Franklin, and I think her perspective is as fun to listen to as yours is. So as we kind of wrap this up, we talked about that we want to kind of customize the program, but what is it you'd hope to give the parents in these workshops or in these seminars that you develop?
Well, I really hope that I think that they can be better savers or better stewards of their own financial portfolio or whatever their income, that they can really budget well, because I think that's going to obviously impact their family as a whole. But then I want them to be able to set the example at home for their kids. I think we could say all day long to children, we can go in and talk about the importance of financial literacy and understanding your finances and budgeting, but they really are going to see really what that looks like by what's practiced at home and what's the example that's being set for them. So I think not only are they setting a good example for their kids and they're setting their kids up for success, but then it's also going to hopefully make their lives a little bit easier and take a lot of the stress and the financial burden off when they can get themselves to a good solid place financially. So I'm hoping to equip them and really just answer questions, do whatever I can.
Well, it sounds great. I know I better come to one of those workshops as well. Allie, thank you so much for joining us. This is such a treat. It has been just wonderful to have you part of the Ambassador Program, and I can't wait to see what happens with the financial literacy program and what else we can do as partners as well. So thank you for being a great example.
Oh, I'm glad to be here for sure.
And thank you guys. We'll be back in just a minute. Well, there you have it. Community partnerships provide significant impact on the kind of education experience parents want to provide for their children. Melissa Dufrechou, our Fine Arts Curriculum Specialist, showed us that knowing a need in our district, telling community members how they can fill it, and creating a structure to make that partnership successful is all it takes to make a difference in our schools. Allie Miller demonstrates the power of the Williamson County School education as she strives to give back to her community through our brand new Ambassador Program. Schools, community, partnerships, who knows? Maybe you have an idea that will change a student's life or give a teacher the chance to think of new ways to reach her students. Our world has much to offer. We must make sure that our students understand as much of it as possible, and that is why money matters. That's our show today. Thank you to our underwriter, Daryl Thompson of Raymond James Financial Services. Thank you for joining us. My name is Deb Enright, and this is Money Matters.